Hi, mystery writers. Well, it's spring. It's still cold. I've got a sweater on. I hope you all are doing well, and I hope your writing is going well. I am spending. I don't know. I got the cover design for my new book, and it's down to the wire with two, and I just go back and forth looking at each one. They're very similar, but they're different. So that's kind of my exciting news for the day. So let's talk about surprise and suspense in your story, because they're similar and they both work really well in a story, but they perform two different functions in fiction. And you can use both to reap that reader attention. They work in different ways, so you need to know the difference as well as how and when to add each into your story. Master storyteller Alfred Hitchcock knew them well and used both. In his longer films like Rear Window, suspense builds to an almost unbearable tension. And in his shorter films and the TV series, Alfred Hitchcock Presents, he used surprise to create plot twists. So I'm going to continue with Hitchcock for just a second. He described the difference, I love this, between the two. Surprise is when two people are sitting in a coffee shop and a bomb goes off under the table. Unexpected. All right. Suspense is when you see a man place a bomb under the table and watch the two people meet to have coffee. He said, in the first case, we've given the public 15 seconds of surprise at the moment of explosion. In the second, we've provided them with 15 minutes of suspense. The conclusion is that whenever possible, the public must be informed, except when the surprise is a twist. And that is when the unexpected ending is in itself the highlight of the story. Okay, so that's what Hitchcock had to say. So you can use surprise and suspense to keep your readers engaged and turning the pages of your story. So let's look at the two of them. First, let's look at surprise. Surprise presents an unexpected turn of events. In fiction writing, the most common twist is the surprise ending, which is kind of what we aim for in mystery novels, because we keep that villain hidden until the very end. So, but you can also use surprise to create a twist when an event changes the direction of the story. So this can often happen right after the midpoint in your story. So other than the ending, a surprise works well when your protagonist realizes he's been playing the wrong game or going in the wrong direction. A midpoint surprise is a skillful way to prevent that sagging middle from happening and maintain the reader's engagement so it doesn't feel so episodic in the middle of your novel. Because each scene is a mini story with a beginning, middle, and end, a small everyday surprise can twist a scene as well, but not necessarily the story. A character trips, a stranger asks a subplot character for a date while they're not thinking about dating. These surprises enliven the scene but don't create major story twists, and the surprise adds an immediate pop to that scene and to the story. Surprises can be overused, so use one big surprise in your manuscript to change the story's direction, like at the midpoint. Too many surprises will make your story feel contrived, and readers don't like that. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about suspense. While surprise is a one-time event, suspense builds through the series of events that lead toward the culmination where readers care about what will happen to the protagonist. The series of events in suspense create tension and raise the stakes for your protagonist. Sometimes she wins, other times she fails. And your readers will cheer the wins, seeking resolution, and when she fails, your reader will wonder how she'll get out of that tough situation. So, the first step in successful suspense sequence is to create characters readers care about. Readers have to care about your stories, and I've talked about this before. So, just build that character that's going to engage your reader. Get them to love your protagonist and hate your antagonist. Both characters need to be strong, believe in themselves, and act. A wimpy hero or a half-hearted villain dilute the tension you want to build to create suspense. And you want to put your hero in jeopardy. Threats to your hero's success build suspense, but you want to do this in increments. Each obstacle or threat is more difficult than the last one, so you're building that suspense, and as the obstacles increase in intensity, you compound the last fail or win your hero has accomplished. So take those tiny steps, and then you're going to avoid this surprise one-time event and build up the tension in your story. One of the ways you can do this is to promise a dire consequence. So you can use the time between events to get inside your protagonist's head. Are they afraid of what might happen? Do they replay bad consequences in their head? So show your readers the direst outcomes so they can root for your hero. Get your readers inside your protagonist's head as they're contemplating their dilemma. And then, of course, you want to deliver on your promise. So impact your protagonist with at least one bad consequence. How can I say this? So your protagonist has been imagining, this could happen or that could happen, and your reader is like, ooh, nail biting. And then you want to impact your protagonist with one of those bad consequences they'd thought about, and you want to make it real. And the next time you make a promise in this story, your reader will wait to see what happens to your hero and how they get out of the next spot of trouble. It's really a lot of setup and payoff when you're creating tension. So you do that by building a sequence of events. So you set up those events to build momentum and increase the tension. In order for the suspense to build, your protagonist cannot win right away. You've got to keep the win off. Your protagonist has to fight for that win. So early in the story, you can foreshadow the big test, and you set up a series of incrementally more important or difficult tests for your protagonist, and you keep your protagonist and the reader guessing. If they think they have won, show how their momentary success did not bring them close to the resolution, and don't give away the answer until the final moment. You really want to keep your readers guessing. Suspense is about making your readers wait. They will never feel that nothing happens in your story if you get them involved with your main character and then build on the promises of bad consequences. So appeal to your readers' own fears through your protagonist, and let your protagonist voice those fears. Suspense build as your hero and readers try to avoid those consequences and escape that failure. Save the big win for the end, after you've laid the groundwork and you have a series of outcomes just as bad, if not worse, than your hero or the reader imagined. Okay, I hope that helps. That's what I had to say. Surprise and suspense, they're very different. They're very useful. They both work in mystery novels, and tell me how you use surprise and suspense, or what you're struggling with. Sometimes it's hard to build suspense. I know for me, sometimes raising the stakes is hard for me. That's just one of my personal challenges. So make sure that you are raising the stakes. Otherwise, your story's going to feel episodic and you won't be building the tension. So that's it. Keep writing, and I'll see you next week.